Salute, salute, salute. Welcome everybody. Another Elite live streams. How you guys doing out there? Hope you're having a great week. I'm back with another live stream. You guys know how we do it. We're going to make sure that we always keep our foot on the gas and we're debunking any of the BS that we see out here, because you already know our motto, Elite Media, we bring the receipts, okay? So we've been seeing a lot of controversy about the Iran war, what's going on with Donald Trump, and we also been hearing a lot about these gas prices. So being me, I got to do my research and see what's really going on. And as I was doing my research, I came across some really good information. You know, the internet is such a great place where you can just find and search and go down rabbit holes to be able to find the actual answer to the question. The propaganda that the media uses to put the veil over our eyes is so insane. And I feel it's important for me, especially with the platform, to make sure that I constantly bring you guys the truth. And we're always going to make sure that we're bringing the receipts. All right. So I did a little research and I found out a lot of information, man. Some stuff that goes as far back as 10 months ago that was talking about the implications of what we are now seeing today. So we're going to watch some videos. We're going to make some commentary. I'm going to do a little reaction, but it looks like a big part of why these gas prices are skyrocketing is because they closed a lot of oil refineries, specifically in California. And the fact of the matter is, when you do that, when you stop producing oil based on our great governor Gavin Newsom, the vampire, okay? This guy has literally been pushing this renewable energy thing with no infrastructure to support it. And so now it is literally tanking the economy, and it is literally making our gas prices skyrocket. So we're going to bring up the receipts here. We're going to talk about it. We're going to do some commentary, and I'm just going to lay it all out for you guys, man, because that's what we do right here. So this is an article or a video from 10 months ago talking about oil refinery closures impact the California economy. Okay. So this is a very, very old video in comparison to how fast the internet works. But it's very important to bring this to the forefront because right now everybody's talking about it and they're saying that it's because of the war in Iran. But in reality, we always know it's much deeper than that. And of course, you know, I don't like Donald Trump. I think he's a total idiot. But it's very, very interesting how the media will try to portray, or they will try their best to put the blame on one party or the other when they are what? Two wings of the same bird. Okay. They're all working together. They're all getting paid. They're all making sure that they're secure, while us, the American people, have to hold the brunt of the bills. All right. So let's get into this. We're going to talk about it, and then we're going to do some commentary as we go. So let's start with this one. Okay. And this is from, let me make sure I get the right place. This is from the San Francisco Chronicle. All right. The San Francisco Chronicle made this video 10 months ago. And we're just going to go down the line because there's videos from 10 months, 9 months, 6 months, 5 months, and then some as recent as 2 months ago, right before, of course, the first missiles were even sent. Okay, so let's listen.
I think there have been rumors happening for a while that Valero was looking to sell the refinery. And I thought that might be what was coming. But what we got instead was, well, it's not a sale, it's, possible closure.
Benicia Mayor Steve Young says the decision from Valero puts them in a bind. The refinery is a huge source of income for the city.
They do pay property tax, and they pay utility tax. And combined, those two things are about $10 million.
Which he says is about a sixth of the city's overall budget. Valero says it feels it is being forced out. California is increasing its regulatory pressure on the industry, said Valero CEO Lane Riggs during an.
All right. As you can see right there in bold letters, California is increasing its regulatory pressure on the industry. Like I said, Gavin Newsom is pushing really hard for the renewable energy. We all know that he wants to get rid of all cars that use gasoline. He wants it to be a standard where everybody in California is using electric cars or EVs. Now, everybody knows my opinion about that. I'm a car guy through and through. I'm an old school guy. I love my old school cars. I love muscle. I love, just cars in general, right? So I already could see the writings on the wall from a long time ago, even as far back as 2008, when I was driving my 1981 El Camino. You know what I'm saying? That was during what? The financial crisis. I had already saw that play of how these things work, how the gas prices fluctuate up and down, and how the industry can choose and pick and choose what they want to regulate us as the American people. So naturally, it's no surprise that this is happening, because California, run by Gavin Newsom, is unfortunately on some BS right now. It's sad, man. It's ridiculous, honestly.
Earnings call with investors this last October. 6 months ago, state and local air regulators slapped Valero with a record $82 million fine, claiming the refinery released illegal amounts of cancer-causing gases into the air.
Now, I will say that this could be true, you know what I'm saying? Because we do understand that the pollution in our world in general, just worldwide, is terrible. Like, we have a really, really bad pollution problem. You guys know I'm a surfer, so I'm very, very passionate about our environment. I'm very, very passionate about nature and the preservation of nature. But we also understand how the world works. And if we are living in a state, right, where a car is essential, it is essential. There's no real public transportation infrastructure here in California because everything is just so spread out. So naturally, I can't help but, understand that there is a necessary evil to all things. $82 million to, oil refineries because of what they were letting out, those emissions. Yeah, sure. Definitely makes sense. But what that does for us as the consumers and the people who need gas to be able to fuel their cars and oil and all of those good things, this is a huge problem for us. This will literally put us in a very, very bad spot. And obviously now to today, because like I said, this was 9 months ago, 10 months ago, actually, this is kind of what we saw, the writings on the wall of what we're, experiencing today. You know what I'm saying?
Mayor Young is on the Air District Board.
It was based on a unreported leak from a hydrogen vent stack.
In the short and medium term, there's no viable use for that site, for that facility whatsoever.
Matt Regan with the Bay Area Council says if the state wants to transition off fossil fuels, it needs to happen gradually, or else the economic impacts will be severe.
All right, listen, this was 10 months ago, okay? This was 10 months ago. They were already talking about the implications that would happen today based on what? Closures of these oil refineries, right? And like I already mentioned, Gavin Newsom is pushing for the renewable energy, and he wants everyone in California to be driving EVs, which is virtually impossible because we already know that there aren't enough power grid to be able to support that. There are also not enough electric cars that are affordable. Okay, let me repeat that are affordable for the everyday American to be able to drive, get back and forth to work, be able to do what they got to do. But like I said, when you have those lobbyists who are putting money in the pocket of these politicians, they are going to find incentives to shut down a lot of these oil refineries that are necessary for us to be able to generate our own oil and gasoline so that it will tamper the pricing of what we are experiencing today. And like I said, this is an article from 10 months ago. So it's very important that I always bring the receipts because this is now what they're talking about. Every article you see now is, oh, be careful with the gas prices because of the Iran war. No, guys, no. It's because you guys are shutting down oil refineries all across California. You guys are fining them because of the pollution, which, I get. But at the same time, what that does to the consumer, us, the American people, that puts us on an island where we are literally stuck holding the bill. And now we're seeing gas prices going up to $5, $6 a gallon, and justifiably so. If we don't have any oil that we're being produced right here in California, what do you think is going to happen? Supply and demand, basic economics, guys. This is basic economics. The less supply, the more demand, the higher the pricing. Okay, this is just regular stuff.
The price of your airline ticket to go on vacation will go up. Not everybody's going to be able to afford an electric vehicle in the next 12 months, but in the next 12 months, gas is going to be $7 a gallon.
Mayor Young says they need to look ahead.
$7 a gallon in the next 12 months. And like I said, this was 10 months ago when they posted this article. Okay, this is an article from 10 months ago. All right. So the fake propaganda that they're trying to press right now about the Iran war and how the Iran war is the reason why our gas prices are going up is straight up baloney. It's a lie. It is complete propaganda. They are lying to us about what's really going on because essentially, like he just mentioned, they already knew this was coming. 10 months ago, they already knew that this was going to be happening, right? But naturally, what happens? The American people, this just flew right under the radar. It just flew right under the radar. So now what they can do is play the politics. Oh, let's blame Donald Trump for what's happening. Let's make sure that we blame. No, it's a bird of the same wings, guys. Okay, one bird, same wings. They are the same. Everybody's getting paid. Everybody else is benefiting except who? The American people. That's just what it is. And we're going to expose it today. We ain't wasting no time.
Determine what can possibly replace Valero. But until then, he expects the city's budget to get a lot tighter.
To the extent that that doesn't cover $10 million a year, we're going to have to look at reducing the city budget. And
look at this, man. This was happening. Like I said, this was happening on a grand scale. They literally are lying to us about the war and what's going on over there so that they can go ahead and pass the buck. Like I said, they're passing the buck, right? Let's blame Donald Trump because it's very easy to do that. Meanwhile, this has already been going on. This is from 10 months ago, okay? And that was from what? The San Francisco Gazette. So now let's go to another article, okay, guys? Let's keep going because we're going down the rabbit hole today because like I said, on Elite Media, we bring the receipts. We're not going to sit up here and let these people lie to y'all. I use my platform for truth. I use my platform for facts. And that's what we're going to bring today because they lying to us, y'all. They telling us, oh, it's because of the war. No, they've been talking about this for 10 months. And he already told you guys that 12 months in advance, this is what's going to happen. Okay, so let's look at this here. All right, here we go. This is from Fox 40. Okay, Fox News says California braces for closures of 2 major oil refineries. 2. All right. This is already happening right now. Okay, so let's keep it clear and let's make sure that we stay on code about the truth. Okay. 9 months ago, this was already happening, talking about 2 oil refineries about to be closed. So let's listen to Fox 40 talk about what is going to happen.
Braces for the closure of 2 major oil refineries. Today, lawmakers in the assembly heard directly from some of the Newsom administration's top officials about efforts to transition away from oil and fossil fuels. Leaders of the California Air Resources Board, California Energy Commission, and Petroleum Market Oversight spoke about Newsom's goal to phase out fossil fuels over the next few decades. And
all right, like I told you guys, Gavin Newsom has a bone to pick with the oil industry. Why? Because he has lobbyists who are giving him money to pass for the EV changeover. They want everybody in California to be driving electric vehicles. Now, mind you, like I mentioned, there's no infrastructure that can support this. There's no power grid that will be able to support this, but they want that because they want to be able to produce. They want to be able to get the money. And mind you as well, there is no real affordable EV for the everyday working American. Okay, somebody who just has to go back and forth to work, they're not going to be able to afford a $35,000 Nissan. Okay, a $35,000 Nissan that is necessary for what? To be a charger. Who has money? Who has a garage? A lot of these people live in apartments. Some people are sharing rooms. Okay, there is not a infrastructure that can support this right now. Maybe in the future, sure, as we start to build. But right now, them phasing out the oil refineries is literally tanking our economy right here in California. And what else is it doing? It is skyrocketing the gas prices. I just got to expose it because they're lying to y'all, okay? They are lying to you guys about what is going on. They're trying to tell you guys that it's the Iran war. No, it's because they're closing oil refineries across the country, all right? So that they can switch over for the EV takeover, whatever you want to call it, okay?
Ban the sale of new gas-powered cars by 2035. It comes as owners of the...
Banning the sale of gas cars by 2035 is insane. Insane. Like what? Like there's no way, bro. I'm gonna be driving my old schools when I'm in 2035. You got me effed up, bro. Ain't no way. You're gonna have to find me. They're gonna have to find me, bro. They're gonna have to pull me over, all that. Cause I ain't giving up my old schools. You crazy, bro. I ain't finna be driving no stupid EV. What the hell?
Phillips 66 Southern California refinery in the South Bay and the Valero Northern California refinery in Benicia announced plans to close their refineries within the next year. State lawmakers expressed concerns about what that could mean for gas prices moving forward.
If all we're doing here in California is reducing our emissions, which are like 1% of global emissions, it doesn't matter a damn. And so I would argue, again, that when we're thinking about climate leadership, we need to make sure that the policies that we're implementing here in California are affordable and accessible for all Californians. And I'll say that I know that what climate leadership does not look like, and that is $10 gas.
$10 a gallon, y'all. $10 a gallon. That is not affordable for anyone to be able to make moves, anyone to be able to do anything. And mind you, what that does is it sends ripple effects through the industry, right? So think about this. They were already talking about how much it would be for fuel for travel. So all the travel, every travel ticket, all of your airplane tickets are going to skyrocket. That's off top. That's number one. Deliveries, okay? Whether it be for your food, whether it be for your packages, whether it be for anything that needs to be delivered in a motor vehicle, that is going to go up because gas prices are now going up. This is how this works, okay? Natural economics means what? Supply and demand, okay? If we have less supply and there's more demand, and then as well, we don't have anything to back it up, we're cooked. Everything is going to go up. Not only just, okay, we have to go to the gas pump and it's $10 a gallon, but everybody else who is a part of a business who uses motor vehicles, they are cooked. They're going to have to pay just like we are. All right. So shipping, receiving, deliveries, all of this is going to be going up, up, up every single time. And mind you, like I said, this is from 9 months ago. They're trying to lie to us, bro. They're not telling us the truth. This is a straight up lie. Okay. They're lying. This is a lie, okay? They're trying to tell you guys that it's the Iran war that's making gas prices go up when it's literally, I just proved it. I went through this whole research. Now we are here, okay? It's because they're closing oil refineries. That's why, y'all. It's pretty straightforward.
The head of the Energy Commission said the closure of 2 refineries could result in California importing more gas from foreign countries. As this was just an oversight hearing, no official action came out of today's meeting.
Okay, and we always talk about the tariffs, right? How are we going to be able to sustain? Okay, how are we going to be able to sustain when everything that's being shipped and received is exponentially more expensive because of the tariffs that our old boy Donald Trump put into implication? Okay, that was an article for 9 months ago. Okay, so now we're going to work our way back. I got another article for y'all from 6 months ago. Okay, where they talk about the impact. Okay, the impact that we are going to see because of these oil refineries closing across California. All right. And mind you, this is happening nationwide, quiet as kept. So y'all make sure you keep your eyes on these things. Make sure you open your mind to knowing that propaganda is real. All right. They telling us, oh, it's the Iran war why the gas prices are going up. No, it's not. It's not. It's because of legislation and what lobbyists who are giving our politicians money so that they can push narratives to be able to what? Shut down the oil industry and then elevate the EV industry. Mind you, what's even more, Tesla and SpaceX have moved out of California. They're not even here anymore. So what incentive is it for the EVs to be able to be taken seriously if we don't even have them being made here? Like, what are we talking about, bro?
California's energy debate is shifting fast. Governor Newsom, once a fierce critic of big oil, is now looking for ways to keep refineries open and boost in-state drilling, with 2 major closures looming.
You guys see the contradictory here? I literally just gave you guys a timeline. Okay, we started from the article from 10 months ago from the San Francisco Gazette. We work our way to 9 months ago from Fox 40, where they're talking about these panels and these legislators that are on panel for the environment talking about we need to close down the oil refineries. Now you got the vampire up here talking about we need to keep them open, but it's too late. It's too late at this point because this article is from 6 months ago. Okay, so the pressure, right, was starting to mount because Gavin started to see, oh crap, the gas price is going up. Oh crap, people are complaining. I'm up for election soon. We can't have this. And he's cooked because now he was trying to backtrack. Literally in a 3-month span, he's now backtracking about shutting down these places. And it's very easy to point out. That's why I love doing my research. I love bringing the truth to you guys because it's very important for me. It really does bring home what I'm trying to do here on this channel. And it's very easy to just go by the timeline for y'all. I'm just going by the timeline. Like I'm not even trying to, be all over the place with it. This is very structured. We started from 10 months ago to 9 months. Now this is 6 months ago. Okay. So this is once again, Fox 11 News. All right. The impact of California refineries closing. Fox 11 News. All right. Pete.
California's energy debate is shifting fast. Governor Newsom, once a fierce critic of big oil, is now looking for ways to keep refineries open and boost in-state drilling, with 2 major closures looming. What does it mean for gas prices, climate goals, and consumers?
Joining us now is Catherine Reheis-Boyd, President and CEO of the Western States Petroleum Association. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So just most important things we got to know in terms of where are we at? What do these refinery closures mean? And, give us a landscape.
So the 2 refinery closures that everybody's been referring to really caught people's attention. And the reason being, we cannot afford to lose any more.
Did you hear that? We cannot afford to lose any more refineries. We cannot afford it. Okay? This is what's happening, guys. I told you guys, went through a timeline. That article from 10 months ago to 9 months ago to this one from 6 months ago, right? We cannot afford this to happen. And it's happening, okay? It's too late. Like I said, it was too late because that's the thing about business. Once people start to see that, hey, you know what? It's costing us too much to be able to produce here. We'll take our business elsewhere, okay? And that's exactly what these companies are doing. Valero, okay? Taken out. We out of here. We dipping. Peace. Y'all got it. Now, second one joins in. They out of here too. We out. And now, like we're seeing, gas prices are skyrocketing. And like I told you guys, they are trying their best to pass the buck onto what's happening in Iran. But in reality, this has been happening and being pushed since 10 months ago, since last year. All right. This has been going on and it's been flying under the radar. Nobody's talking about it. Okay. But we're going to talk about it right here on Elite Media because we don't mess around, man. We're going to make sure that we bring the receipts.
We're the of the entire world, we're the 3rd largest consumer of gasoline as a state. And the only ones in front of us, United States of America and China. So we consume a lot of gasoline. We cannot have refineries close and limit the ability to provide fuel to Californians.
Listen, man, I told you guys, California, you cannot survive here without driving, yo. It's crazy, man. What's up, Johnny? Salute to you, bro. He says Gavin uses Trump as a smokescreen. 100%. 100%. Cali got issues galore. They do, bro. And it's bad because, like I said, we're starting to see how they're now trying to pass the buck. But I'm here to make sure that they don't do that. This is all fake propaganda, okay? It's all propaganda that they're trying to prop up. And mind you, I am not a Trump supporter at all, but I am a supporter of truth. And I'm not going to let these people lie to us, y'all. I'm not going to let them lie when we know what's really going on, okay? And what's really going on is they are choosing to prop up EV over oil and gasoline. And what that does is that literally is tanking our economy because, like she mentioned, we are the third largest consumer of oil and gasoline in the country. In comparison to everyone else, California is the third largest spot. We use a lot of gas here. We drive everywhere. It's a very spread out place. So we need to have gasoline in order to be able to survive out here. It's insane, bro. Johnny says, do you think this is a push for people to use public transportation? I'll tell you this. If it is a push for that, public transportation is going to go up too, because gas prices are still going up. So it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because they're going to continue to push this up. They're going to push it up, push it up, push it up, push it up. And then what that does is that makes all things that are gasoline vehicles, all that pricing has to be readjusted. It's very easy to do it when diesel fuel is cheap. It's about $4 a gallon. But when that diesel fuel goes up to $7 a gallon, goes up to $10 a gallon, oh yeah, it's not going to be sustainable to be able to use public transportation or drive your car. Okay, because bus fare is what, like $1.50, $2.50 or something? I ain't been on a bus in a minute, but I'm pretty sure it's around that price. So if you think about it like that, everything's going to go up. It ain't just going to be, oh, you know, we can take the train or we can take the bus. Well, the buses use gasoline too. So, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Does that make sense? But it's crazy, bro. Like, it's crazy how they're lying to us, y'all.
So why did these two refineries get everybody's attention? That's 20% of the fuel supply of the state.
20%.
So what happened is in April, the governor got interested in this topic and said, I'm worried, and Energy Commission, go figure it out. That response came back to the governor and pointed out certain actions that have to be taken, and those are now going to be considered in the next 30 days. So
it's cooked already. Like I told you, it was already cooked. As soon as Gavin Newsom started to push that EV stuff and preserving of the, you know, economy and all this other crap, trying to make sure that EVs will be the premium used form of transportation by 2035, that is literally killing the economy now. Gavin Newsom is literally killing the California economy, specifically the oil industry here. And what do you think? Do you think Big Oil has any incentive to stay here if they have to pay over $82,000 in fines because of pollution and because of anything else that Gavin Newsom wants to just drum up today? No, they don't have time for that. They have to be a profitable business. And so naturally, when they see that, they're like, bro, we good. Like, we'll just leave. And that's what happened in a lot here. We already are seeing the mass exodus of huge corporations leaving California because of what Gavin Newsom is doing every single day. Because he don't know what he's doing, okay? He's trying to appease to, like I said, his lobbyists, people who are putting money in his hand to say, hey, man, we need to get these electric vehicles off, bro. We need y'all to pass these, you know, laws and pass these, you know, standards so that we can get Big Oil up out of here and then we could go ahead and put these EVs off. But mind you, like I said, an electric vehicle is not sustainable for the regular, everyday American. They do not have the money. They do not have the space to find a electric charger to leave their car there for over 8 hours All right, because we see this all the time. So many videos about people talking about the regrets that they have for buying electric vehicles, for the fact that there's no infrastructure that supports electric vehicles to be able to be a quick, hey, let me charge my car for like 30 minutes. It's fully charged and I'm out. That's not how this works with electric vehicles. It's not like a gasoline where you can just go fill your car up in 20 seconds and get on. No, it's not the same with electric vehicles. And a lot of people have talked about how much of a pain in the butt it is to have one. So why would anybody else want to join in with that? And mind you, like I told you, the mass exodus of these corporations that's happening in California right now is making implications across the entire country. All right. The entire country is being affected by what is happening with what Gavin Newsom's trying to do. And like I told you, it's all about the money. So y'all follow the money. Whoever's putting that money in his hand to push this EV policies and all this other stuff, that's why he's doing it. He's not doing it because he's thinking about us, the everyday Americans, the people who are tax-paying citizens, all right? We are paying taxes every single paycheck. And what do we have to show for it? Higher gas prices, higher groceries, higher rent, no rent control at all. And we can't even afford to buy homes here in California anymore because of what the real estate industry and the vampire nature of these realtors, owners, and sellers. Y'all know who we talking about, the boomers, okay?
We have the Assembly starting next Wednesday having an informational hearing. People like, Assembly Member Mike Gibson, Assembly Member Kadif Petronortis, all taking this up next week, starting that conversation. The decisions that have to be made are twofold. One, in the legislative realm, we have got to allow crude oil to be permitted to drill in Kern County so it can come out of the ground, put in pipelines, and go to the north and south to two refineries.
Now, listen, this is also a part of it is when they remember the Trump drill baby drill. Remember that? Everybody was talking about, oh, we're going to bring back oil to America. We're going to get our oil refineries back just for them to be shut down. And mind you, I'm bringing you guys articles from over 10 months ago. All right. This has already been happening. So naturally, all of these things that they're lying to us about, telling us that, oh, it's because of the war that the gas prices are going up. It's because of the conflict in the Middle East. It's such a lie. It's a literal lie. I'm proving it right now. It is a lie. It is because they have chosen to take money from these EV companies. And then what are they doing? Like I said, they're stiffing us, everyday American, man. They're stiffing us. They're making us think that, oh, it's because of what's going on over there in Iran. No, it's because they're choosing not to support the oil refineries that are producing oil right here in the States to outsource to other countries. All right. Because what are they trying to do? They're trying to cut corners. And what does that do? That cuts us out as the American people. It cuts us out of what we need in order to survive here. Okay. Because like she said, we are the third largest group of people who use oil and gasoline in the entire country. California is completely spread out. We do not have the infrastructure for public transportation. We do not have the infrastructure yet for that. So naturally, everybody has cars here. So if you don't have a car, you're dead. Okay, unless your job is in a 5-mile radius from where you live, bro, it's insane. You're not gonna make it, bro. You can't make it in California without a car. Everybody knows that who comes from California, all right?
If that does not happen soon, those pipelines will close and we will have another couple of refineries that announce their closing. Why did Valero's announcement get so much attention? The day after they announced they were closing or potentially closing, their stock prices went up because their investors were so happy that they were leaving California.
Listen, man, I'm telling y'all, there is a mass exodus of all of these companies these huge corporations, specifically in the oil industry, who have no incentive to be here anymore. The state taxes are too expensive. It's costing them so much money to produce because of the regulations that Gavin Newsom and his little team have put on all these people based on the pollution. And like I said, I'm a surfer. I'm pro environment. All right. Taking care of the environment. I'm all for that. But at the end of the day, I understand how this works, and we need these places to be here because I got to work, man. I got to work. This ain't my full-time job. Okay. I get on here and I talk to y'all and stuff, but I have a business, man. And I need to make sure that I'm able to move around. And if I can't move around, guess what? They don't care. They're making money off of that because what? The stock market is fake anyways. It's all about, playing the dip, right? Okay, this is going back. Let me go ahead and get my money real quick. Let me pull my money out. And like she said, they were excited to leave California because it just costs too much to produce here. It costs too much to live here. It costs too much to do anything in California now. And why is that? Y'all know why. Y'all know why. We're going to talk about it, though.
So what we are saying to the governor, to the legislature, to the agencies, you must send a market signal to investors now that California is open for business, that you want investment in these refineries, that you want us to continue producing fuel so consumers can, drive every day. And it's not like it's just gasoline, diesel. It's also jet fuel.
I told you guys are about to see an insane spike, not only in just, hey, man, we're going to be, paying prices as the consumer, but no, when you guys are starting to book flights, and advisory for anybody like me who are travelers, don't travel overseas right now. Don't be stupid. Stay in the States if you're going to be traveling. All right. Because it's just too much going on. But if you are going to be traveling in an airplane, that jet fuel is going to raise the prices now for tickets. So if you guys are here, let me tell y'all, get y'all tickets now. Start booking flights early, because what's going to happen next is going to be a skyrocket in ticket pricing and how expensive it is to take a plane, how expensive it is because of what? The jet fuel prices are going to skyrocket. All right. And this is coming from somebody who has an aerospace background. I know what the hell's going on. Okay. This is what's going to happen. I'm telling you guys, this is exactly what's going to happen.
Last time I looked, you got a pretty big airport in your backyard. So that is why this is so critical.
And this is why Newsom changed his tune and is more pro for in-state drilling. You don't want any more refineries to close. The Valero refineries up in the Bay Area, the Phillips 66 is here in Southern California.
What a spineless snake. Okay. And like I told you guys, I showed you guys a timeline. When we first got in here, I played you guys a video from the San Francisco Gazette from 10 months ago. Then I played you guys a video from Fox 40 9 months ago. This is from Fox 11 LA News from 6 months ago. This is from 6 months ago. Okay. He's changed his tune. All right. Because in 10 months, he was talking crazy. He was talking about finding all these places. We're focused on EV. We're trying to build the infrastructure for that. And all the pressure started to mount on him because economists, as they should, did their job and said, hey, Gavin, bro, you probably shouldn't do this because it's going to affect a lot of things that are happening right here in our country, specifically in California. A lot of these companies are going to leave. And sure enough, Valero was like, we out. See y'all. We don't need this. And they gone. And they left, bro. So naturally, this is where we at now. And hey, they got to hold that. They got to hold the L because we're going to keep going. We're not going to stop. We're going to keep going because this is
California. That's set to close this year. Valero next year. The legislature has until September 12th to make this decision. If this doesn't go by the way of keeping refineries open, gas prices are already averaging about $4.50 here in California. What would that do to prices?
Well, I think you had, a university professor actually talk about this and estimated $8 to $10 a gallon if things don't turn around. Now,
$8 to $10 a gallon, y'all. $8 to $10 a gallon. That's what we're looking at. And mind you, like I said, this one from 6 months ago. So the economists had already did their research and they're like, man, if we're at $4.50 6 months ago, this by the time that we're at today, we're going to start seeing prices like that, y'all. We're going to start seeing $7 a gallon, $8 a gallon, probably in Beverly Hills and places like that. We're probably going to see $10 to $12 a gallon over there. I just want y'all to understand what we about to witness and what's about to happen. And I wanted to make sure that I always brought you guys the receipts because, like I said, they're lying to us. They're trying to make us think that, oh, it's the Iran war. Iran is the reason why the gas prices are going up in the war in the Middle East. No, it's not. It's not. It's because of negligence by our politicians who are choosing to tank our economy. They are choosing to tank our dollars and make us pay more as law-abiding citizens, okay? And mind you, man, I'm seeing people in the comments, they talking about, bro, what's the point of paying taxes if we're not getting what we want? Shit, I'm with it. Don't tell me that. All right, y'all, we ain't paying taxes? Well, let me know. Y'all let me know in the comments if we paying taxes or not, because I'm gonna be real with you. Ain't no point for us to pay taxes if everything that we do in every single part of this country, we're being charged out the butt for it. Like, come on, man.
Now, over time, if you move 2 more, the others will be scheduled to close as well. Here's the problem. If demand in California was going down, wouldn't be as big of an issue. Demand is strong. You need supply to meet demand or prices go up. It's that simple. Any economist, right, can do that.
Obviously, there's a lot of ideological issues with this, especially in a supermajority Democratic legislature. Are you seeing some people saying we got to go against this ideological stuff and just be pragmatic here?
Yes, and the reason being is it got their attention when all of these things started happening. We've been talking about this for a couple of years.
Right.
I told you guys, this has been something that has been in the ecosystem for a lot of these economists and a lot of the people who are in the know. They've been talking about this for years based on the overt and actually the direct push for the EVs. This has been going on for a while. A lot of people have been talking about this. So naturally, we saw it coming. And when I started to see recently all these news outlets and all this propaganda where they're trying to push it, saying that it's because of what's going on in Iran is the reason why our gas prices are going up. Nah, homie. Nah, y'all trying to pass the buck, bro. You're trying to be slick, and it's not gonna work because I see the play. I see what you guys are trying to do, and I don't like that because I understand what's happening, and I know for a fact that this was a lie. And so that was why, like, I made sure, I put everything together correctly. But I made sure that I had to do this stream because I know for a fact that they're lying to y'all and they're lying to us about what's going on with these gas prices and why they're really high. Okay, it's because of what they've been doing. It has nothing to do with what's going on in Iran, what's going on with the war. It's all about these politicians who have literally been taking money out of our pockets to be able to charge us more for things, man. Just despicable snake-like work. Okay, vampires, y'all. Vampires.
We've got members who are looking forward, saying, we see something. This is a problem. This is going to be a problem. We've got to switch course here. We cannot keep putting cost and cost and cost on refineries because they will close and leave.
Yeah.
And so I think what they're saying now is, okay, we probably need to talk about this.
Let's
talk.
When people start hearing $8 to $10 a gallon, it gets people's attention.
And it's quality of life, right? It's quality of life for everybody in California.
All right, Catherine.
Quality of life, right? That's exactly what this is about, okay? Because like I told you, we're in California, so a lot of what we do, the travel is surrounded around this. How people move around is a part of this. How there's a big push for these electric vehicles and they can't even drive longer than 2-3 hours. Okay, we've seen so many videos, so many articles, so many people speaking out about how much they hate their EVs, and yet they're trying to push that on us. But then what? The pressure starts mounting. Now they backtracking, right? Now they scared because they see, like I told you, they see that eventually we could reach almost what? $8 a gallon, $10 a gallon, bro.
Benicia is home to 26.
Like $10 a gallon is what we're looking at, guys. Almost $10 a gallon. Because what? They're choosing to close oil refineries. All right. they are stiffing us as consumers. All right, especially here in California, man. Like she mentioned, we are the third largest block of people who use the most oil and gasoline in the entire country. All right, and everything's already expensive here. We're already spending so much to live. We're already spending so much to eat. We're already spending so much to just do the regular everyday things. Now they're about to get us on gas. So what you think is going to happen now? Y'all think it's going to be able to be cheap to order DoorDash? Nope, that's about to go up. Y'all think it's going to be cheap to get y'all little things from Amazon? Nope, that's about to go up. Y'all think y'all about to be shipping stuff from UPS and all these other places? Nope, that's about to go up. We ain't even talking about how much it's going to be for all of these major companies that are trucking companies. Think about the trucking industry, how much this is going to be affected by that. The premiums are gonna be insane amounts, okay? Construction, woo! Let's not even talk about construction, okay? All of those vehicles out there, those tractors, those bulldozers, all of those are gas. It's all right, here we go. Next article, okay? This is from 5 months ago. This is the new plan could prevent the Valero refinery plant in Benicia from closing next year. Could, right? So let's hear the BS. Let's hear more, because like I said, this is from 5 months ago.
Benicia is home to 26,000 people. Its biggest employer is Valero Energy Corporation with about 400 workers. Valero also produces about 9% of California's gas. The oil company has plans to close by next April, partly because of a massive fine for unlawful toxic emissions.
I told you guys that this is from 5 months ago. What month are we in now? We are in March. Okay? And look, can you follow the timeline for me, guys? Can you follow the timeline for me? They're going to close in April. Isn't that funny? Isn't it funny how all that lines up? It tracks. From 5 months ago, they were talking about that the Valero oil refinery was going to be closing in April. We are in March. There was just a first missiles sent in Iran. How does that make sense? It doesn't. None of them are related, okay? We're talking about the oil refineries. That is the reason why, okay? That is the reason why our gas prices are going up, because they're closing oil refineries here in California, all right? And not only that, a lot of these companies are happy to move out of here because it just costs too much to produce here, okay? Salute to Johnny. He says soon travel within Cali, like LA to SD, will be a luxury. Hotels are too expensive. Facts, bro. I'm telling you, man, it's gonna get greasy out here, bro. It's gonna get real tough out here, bro, because people really don't understand the implications of this. Like I mentioned, I'm gonna keep mentioning it. California is the third largest consumer of gasoline and oil in the entire country. This is going to impact a lot of people here. A lot of people need their cars to get to work, to get back and forth. Some people use their cars for work. Okay, so you don't think all this other stuff is just going to be skyrocketing? You're mad. And I mean this respectfully. Y'all better get your stuff in order, because all those delivery services and all that stuff that we find as, a very good convenience will be a luxury. All right, just like Johnny said, a lot of the regular things that we thought would just be regular everyday stuff is going to now become a luxury. Okay, it's going to get greasy out here, man. And a lot of people, like I said, these articles have been up here from 10 months ago. Some of them further back than that when I was doing my research. But I felt like it was good for me to just run down the timeline, because this tracks so well to prove these guys are liars. They're lying to us. They're telling us that it's because of the war going on in the Middle East, but it's very obvious that it is because they've closed down oil refineries right here in California. And mind you, this is going to go nationwide, y'all. So don't ever think because of what happens here, it's not going to have implications nationwide, because everything that happens in California sends ripple effects throughout the entire country. Okay? So y'all better be on look. Y'all better keep your head on a swivel. Watch them prices go up. Watch how the propaganda of the media, how they're trying to change the narrative and push the buck off on the Republicans. When, mind you, they are two wings of the same bird, okay? Two wings of the same bird, all right? They're all in on it. One big club, and you ain't in it. I'm not in it. None of us are in it. We're the ones who got to take the L while they get rich, okay? Because like I just mentioned on that last video, she said that a lot of the investors make money off of this. They are excited to put this in the stock market so that they can make their money on the dip. Like, come on, man, this is diabolical work.
But now California could help prevent that closure. According to Bloomberg, state lawmakers are negotiating to pay hundreds of millions of dollars to Valero Energy Corporation. The proposed bailout of $80 to $200 million would help pay for maintenance costs at the plant that was built in 1968.
All right. Now you see how they just mentioned the bailout, right? Who do you think's paying for the bailout? Who do you think is paying for the bailout of these companies because of their negligence? Who do you think? Us, the taxpayers. We're the ones who are going to be bailing out because of the politicians' negligence. I repeat, we are going to be the ones who will have to pay out because of politicians' negligence. These major corporations, they're going to get bailouts of over $80 to $100 million, while we still are going to have to be paying almost $7 to $10 a gallon for gasoline, y'all. Can you believe this? Like, this is why, like I said, on Elite Media, we bring receipts, baby. We ain't just going to allow y'all to just talk crazy and have us, in a situation where we can't do what we supposed to do. Taxpayers, you right, Johnny. That's what it is, man. It's a domino effect. Facts. It will be a domino effect. Everything will trickle down from this. They always talk about trickle down economics. This is what it is. This is a prime example of trickle down economics, where we have a specific industry that is doing and controlling so much. Like you said, this oil refinery is responsible for 9% of the production of oil and gasoline in California. That's a huge chunk. All right. So now their, foot is to the fire, and they gotta make sure they stay because they understand what's going to happen. And like I said, this article is from 5 months ago, y'all. 5 months ago, before any of this war in the Middle East happened, before a missile was even sent. Okay. So do not let them push this propaganda on us and lie to us in our face. It's a lie, okay? It is because these politicians have literally sold us out. And now we have to hold on to the bill because of their negligence, all right? We're going to be looking at $7 to $10 a gallon.
We asked city leaders in Benicia about the proposal.
The city certainly supports anything that the legislature or the governor would be willing to do in order to incentivize the Benicia Valero refinery to maintain its operations. Because if they were to close, we would experience a $10 to $12 million annual shortfall.
At the end of the day, keeping a refinery open in California is more key than anything else.
Patrick DeHaan is head of petroleum analysis for GasBuddy.
California has really been pushing its refineries to the limit. This is the second potential closure of a refinery in the last 6 months.
Second potential closure in the last 6 months, okay? I mean this, y'all. Like, it's right in our face, man. The truth is right there. It's on my heart and on my platform to make sure that I bring this to y'all. I don't even care how many people come in here and see this. I just want to make sure that y'all know what's really going on, and that the fact that they lying to us, we ain't going to allow them to lie to us, y'all. We're not. Impossible.
California has long had very restrictive laws and rules and regulations when it comes to refineries. And some of them have had enough.
DeHaan says California is doing an about-face and stepping in to keep refineries from shutting down. Refineries shutting down would have serious impacts on motorists. Some economic experts say that gas could go up to $8 a gallon if the Benicia plant and another refinery, Phillips 66 in Los Angeles, both close.
$8 a gallon. $8 a gallon, y'all. What? Who's going to be able to afford that? Who's going to be able to do anything when gas prices are $8 a gallon? Okay. This is crazy, man. All right. So now let's go to the next article. Okay. The next article, this one was from 2 months ago. All right. Like I said before, any missiles were even sent overseas.
California.
Okay. 2 months ago, this was what was going on. These stories are right here available on YouTube, very easily able to find and accessible. All right. So look, let's go into it. This one as well is from Fox Business. All right. This is Fox Business. Okay. They've been following this story. And like I told you guys, we went from the San Francisco Gazette, we went to Fox, we went to every single outlet that has been talking about this from over 12 months ago. All right. This is all information that's readily available to you guys. I just felt like I could do this for y'all to make it easier so that we can be able to be on the same page, so that when y'all go into any space that you're in where people trying to push false narratives, talk about, oh man, it's the war's going on in the Middle East, that's why gas prices are, you can be like, no, that's not why. You can literally debunk it immediately, and you can use my video if you want. You dig?
California has had the most expensive gasoline in the country. And now lawmakers are warning that prices could go even higher very soon. Congratulations. Not Max Gordon. Gavin Newsom. Live. Max is outside a closed Phillips refinery in Cali. Hey, Max.
All right. This one is already closed now, right? Like they told us, the last video that I just showed you guys, they were talking about potentially closing. Now it's from 5 months ago. This is now 2 months ago, and it has closed. Okay. Phillips 66 is right over here in Carson, California, very close by to where I live. Okay. Closed. All right. And think about all the jobs that were lost, all of the inconvenience that's going to happen because of that, all the people who are now unemployed because of this closure. I would hope that maybe there was a relocation. I'm not sure, but this is what happens. This is the ramifications. Like I said, trickle down. The trickle down is we shut down the oil refinery. Sure, that lowers emissions, right? But as well, it depletes all those jobs. All those people that were employed by Phillips 66 are now out of jobs. All right. So just think about that while this plays.
Max.
Hey there, Dagan. Well, this refinery shut down back in October, and when it was operating, it accounted for a little more than 8% of the state's refining capacity. And now, in 2026, we are set to see another refinery close in California. This next one is going to be closing down in April in Benicia, California.
Told y'all. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? In Benicia, it's over. It's done. Okay. Because look at the numbers. All right. So Marathon Petroleum, 22%, Chevron, 16%, Chevron, 15%, PBF, 9.9, PBF, 9.6. Valero closed, was accounting for 8.9. Phillips 66 closed and accounted for 8%. Together, that is over 17%. Over 17% of the production that was happening right here in California, they are now closed. I mean, they don't care, bro. They don't care about us. They don't care about us, y'all. They don't care about us. They don't care about us having to be strapped for cash, having to be, nickel and diamond around. They don't care. They don't care.
It's owned by Valero, and that refinery accounts for just under 9% of the state's refining capacity. Republican lawmakers say overregulation of California's oil and gas industry is all to blame.
It doesn't just affect California. Arizona and Nevada also get their gasoline from our state. So you've seen their governors, bipartisan, expressing serious concerns over the crippling of the energy infrastructure in our state.
I told you guys, there's a trickle down. All right. California, whatever happens here, it sends implications throughout the entire country, y'all. Okay. This is what's happening. Anything that happens here, it will send waves throughout the entire nation. Nevada and Arizona being one of the recipients of these producers. Now that that's gone, it's over, y'all. Hey, salute, Randall. Appreciate you coming through, brother. Welcome. But yeah, man, that's what's happening. We are now seeing the trickle down, like he just mentioned. Because of what's happening here in California, now Arizona is affected. Now Nevada is affected. And it's going to, like I said, it's going to keep spreading, okay? Because if we already had 2 refineries closed, one is going to be closing in April, like I just mentioned. Isn't that funny? Isn't it funny how they're now blaming everything on the war in the Middle East, and it just tracks to what right now? This is not by design, y'all. This is propaganda. It is propaganda 101. They're telling us, hey, guys, you know what? You better be ready because gas prices are going to go up. And they're trying to put the blame on the war going on in the Middle East. But in reality, it's because of what Gavin Newsom has been doing here for over a year. Closing all of these oil refineries, closing all of these places and finding them millions of dollars, then backtracking and trying to bail them out by using taxpayer money to make sure that they stay in business. And like I said, who's paying for that? We are. And we don't even get any kickbacks. Nothing gets lower, nothing changes, but we're paying out our tax money to bail out these companies because of negligent politicians, negligent lobbyists, people who do not care about our economy, who do not care about everyday working Americans. And we're supposed to be the ones who are supposed to be sticking up? Get out of here, bro. Please, man. Randall in the chat, he says Trump stole oil from Venezuela to fight this war. He knew he was going to attack Iran. But guess what? That oil didn't come up here. It didn't. It didn't come up here. They try to use it for what? All the troops over there. And now the troops are actually in a bad spot because we just heard the politicians talking about that they don't even have enough ammo. Okay? They only had enough ammo for 8 days to fight. And I'm going to make a video about that too. So y'all be on the lookout. We might do a live stream about that. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I don't know everything about the politics that go into the war. But what I do know is that there are facts coming out now that we wasn't prepared for this and that they just winging it. And I feel bad for my brothers in arms. Okay. I feel bad for my sisters in arms who over there getting, unalived at record numbers because they're not going to tell us what the real numbers are. But we know they out there catching hell. And that's just a fact. Like, we already know that. Iran came with that work and they ain't backing down, bro. So salute. You know what I'm saying? Whatever happens, happens, bro. Like I told you guys, we in the last days and y'all better wake up because it's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse.
Here's where California's currently standing as far as gas prices are concerned. This is how they compare to the national average. Part of the reason for the price disparity is that California's gasoline is taxed at a high rate. The gas is also different than other states. California has strict air quality and environmental standards, and gas sold in the state must be a cleaner burning blend.
I told you guys, there is no incentive for these corporations to stay here. There isn't. There's no correlation between them wanting to stay here and them actually making money and it being profitable. Look at this. State exercise tax 61 cents in comparison to a federal tax, which is 18. Okay? Low carbon fuel standard, 17 cents. Like, this is insane, y'all. Extra fees per gallon at $1.32, man. Y'all really think that this is going to last? You're crazy. Salute, Randall. He said they on a crash out mission. Facts. Crash dummies, bro. Unfortunately, and I know, like I said, I have a lot of brothers and sisters. I have cousins and stuff who are a part of the military. I was even contemplating going to the military. You know what I'm saying? Because I got plans. But at the end of the day, what point does it make if we fighting a war that ain't even got nothing to do with us? We doing it for other entities. And y'all know who we talking about. Them 24 karat people. All right. That's all I'm going to say because y'all know on YouTube, them 24 karat people, they going, anything you say is offensive to them. So you got to be careful when we talking about the 24 karat people. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. And you got to be careful with that because I'm telling y'all, this is all a crash out mission that is going to destroy our country. Everything that's happening right now is to destroy our country. We are now becoming a third world country. We are. And whether people want to accept it or not, it's happening. Our dollar is going down every day. Inflation is going up. And now we got gas prices skyrocketing. They're closing all types of oil refineries. I'm telling you guys better be careful out here, man, because it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. It's not. And I'm proving it to you guys right now. Nothing but receipts. These are all receipts. I ain't put up nothing that wasn't a lie. I ain't put up nothing that wasn't factual. For everybody who was here since the beginning, all we do here on Elite Media is bring receipts. We ain't got time for nothing else. We don't. I got to make sure that I'm keeping it true to you guys. And I'm making sure that I'm building my platform on something that y'all can trust. Not on just me on here ranting about stuff that ain't true. This is happening right now. Y'all need to be on alert and keeping your head on a swivel, baby, because it's, like I said, it's only going to get worse, y'all. You got to be careful out here.
Still, dropping oil prices and an increase in oil imports into California have shielded the state's drivers from any extreme price increases in the wake of the most recent refinery closure. A potential solution to increasing the oil supply in California and decreasing gas prices has come from President Trump, who wants to increase oil drilling off of the California coast. That's gotten pushback, though, from environmental groups and California Governor Gavin Newsom, who called the plan idiotic. Now, back here in Wilmington, the decommissioning of the Phillips 66 plant is currently underway. There are plans to turn it into a mixed-use development site with shopping as well as warehouse space. Dagan, back to you.
Yeah, people can go shopping there if they could just put gas in their tank.
Except for walk.
Yeah, they could drive there and they can just look.
Look, man, I don't got, too much love for the Fox News staff because they racist pieces of crap. But you know what I'm saying? You gotta call a spade. And if they putting out the truth, we gotta keep it coming, man, because this is what's happening. I told y'all that I'm always gonna bring receipts here. Okay, because we already see what's happening. We know what's coming, but a lot of people don't care, man, because they don't see it. It's not in their face, so they won't see it. But guys like us who are conscious, who are seeing the stuff for what it is, who can see through the BS, I got to make sure that I bring this to y'all. I had to make sure that I brought this to the forefront because I already see what's happening. I already know how they're going to conduct their business. And mind you, this is in a space where now we're all being affected by it. All right. We're all being affected by this. And it's unfortunate, man, because this is what we see every day, man. And I have to be honest with you, because if I'm not honest with you guys, I don't have a platform. And I know that a lot of people support my platform and they love coming here because I always keep it real. I don't try to pander. I'm not on one side or the other. I'm always going to keep it straight down the middle. I already have my allegiances, obviously, because I'm Black American. But other than that, we're going to talk about my economy because I'm a taxpaying citizen just like y'all. I work just like y'all. I have to be out here every day just like y'all. So I'm not going to use my platform for anything other than bringing truth to power. Y'all got to make sure y'all support it, though. Y'all got to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so you guys can stay tapped in with me. You got to make sure that you're keeping your eyes open for what's going on out here because they're putting the veil over our eyes, trying to lie to us. All right. They're lying to y'all about what's happening in this whole war in the Middle East stuff. That's the reason why the gas prices are going up. No, it's not. It's because we have greedy politicians who will do anything for the dollar. They have no backbone. They won't stand up for the people, nor will they stand up for everyday working Americans. Okay. They could care less about us. They could, man. And it's so sad because we bust our ass every single day out here working for them, helping build their business, helping make them millions of dollars. And what do we have to show for it? Y'all help me understand. What do we have to show for it? Y'all tell me, man, because I'm gonna be real with you, man. I don't know too many millionaires. I'm just be real, bro. I know some guys who are doing really well for themselves, but I don't know millionaires who just cool with $8 and $10 a gallon gasoline who could just ride around. That's cool with them. Come on, bro. Imagine that. So now let me bring this up. This one is a video from the California Insider, the title, Experts Warn Trouble Ahead for California with Refinery Closures. It's a panel. And listen, this is a video as well from 1 month ago. Okay, 1 month ago. Salute to Johnny. He back in the chat. He said, and flights to Vegas will increase. They don't have that damn speed train up yet. It will never come, bro. It'll never come because the people that they were counting on to build it, y'all know what happened to them. They got swept up, okay? With people who they were counting on to build it, the cheap labor that they were going to give to the immigrants, it's gone now. They're out of here. They can't be found. So everything now has now been completely flipped on its head. All right? Everything that they counted on, because I'm gonna keep it real. Everything that's been built in America was built on the backs of people who were, first of all, slaves, okay? So the entire infrastructure of what we have right now in America for centuries was built behind Black American slaves. That's where it started, okay? That whole industry, that was built on our backs and our ancestors' backs, okay? Then what happened? They figured out, okay, we'll use the immigrant class now to be what? The very, very low pay for high output. We'll pay them what a lot of us Americans, Black Americans and white Americans alike, will not do anymore because we started to understand our worth. And now that has now tanked the economy because everything has to change over. And a lot of white Americans was getting tired of this immigration problem. They got tired of being pushed out of jobs and not being able to get what they were supposed to. So naturally, now we got it, it's a problem. Like you said, that speed train, that ain't getting built. They don't have the people to do it no more. They literally shot themselves in the foot. And it's hilarious to me because I've already seen the outsourcing that was happening, especially in my industry that I worked in. I saw it from the ground level all the way up, okay? How they would use certain economic pressures to be able to bring these people in, giving them visas to work and all this other stuff. Like, get out of here, man. We know what's going on. So let's hear this guy talk about what's happening, all right? Whatever, we'll see.
Transition that's happening right now that will impact every Californian going forward. Do you ever think about where our gas comes from? All of this is about to change. A number of refineries have been leaving the state. Today, we sit down with a number of industry experts to find out what these changes are and what are the potential impacts. Will there be a higher gas prices in California or not? I'm Siama Korami. Welcome to California Insider. Valero is the next refinery that's exiting the state. There's an update that things will change. They're going to continue supplying the gasoline, but they're going to import it. They're not going to operate.
Did you catch that? They're going to import it. Okay? They're not producing it anymore. So what do you think? What did we just talk about? Didn't we just talk about the tariffs? Didn't we just say that Donald Trump is losing his mind about tariffs? What do you think it's going to cost to import these type of fuels? How hard do you think it is to import that type of stuff? Let's talk about it. Let's hear what they have to say. Let's hear.
What are your thoughts?
Well, let me start on that one because I just finished looking at that. There's no real update to that. If you look at their press release, which came out, I believe, January 6th, just a few days ago, it just parrots what they said back in April when they said they were going to shut down. And so there's no real update to it. They said, look, we're going to terminate our operations in April of 2026. We will work against our existing inventory of crude oil, which means they're not taking any more crude oil in. And at some point, we will cease operations by April 26th.
All right. Like I told you guys, look at the timeline. Does the timeline track to all the propaganda that they're trying to push right now for the war in the Middle East? Yes, it does. 100% it tracks. And it's funny because, like I said, It's very easy to put that type of propaganda out there and say, oh, it's Iran. Why would Iran affect oil and gasoline prices if we supposedly produce it here? Oh, that's right, because you guys are importing it as well. And that is your last resort, because now you guys understand that the people who were producing it are leaving. All right, they're getting out of California, and that's on them. That has nothing to do with us as taxpayers, okay? They are the ones who have to hold that L. And like I said, it tracks. It makes so much sense because this goes right along with the timeline of where we're at today. And low key, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. It seemed like a distraction tactic. Seemed like we started a war because they didn't want, they didn't want this to become what it is today. I'm a conspiracy theorist, so I'm gonna throw some stuff out there. Y'all let me know if I'm crazy for thinking that, but I'm gonna throw it out there. This seemed like a distraction to me. It seemed like this war just popped up out of nowhere, but now we're looking at, oh, the gas prices. Hold up. Wait, I thought we produced oil here. What's going on? How's this? This makes sense now, don't it? Don't it make sense? It's crazy, y'all. This is like, I just love research. I love research. I love bringing this stuff to the forefront and debunking narratives, man, because this is what I created my channel for, man. This is what created Elite Media for, is to make sure that we constantly pushing out truth and we bringing receipts to back it up. Like, what they talking about?
And, we'll import some gasoline. We'll work with the state to figure out how to import some gasoline and maybe turn ourselves into a terminal.
Yeah, that's why I started to get into this, and I was trying to get traction. As I was worried because Valero is the most complex and the most efficient refiner in the state. None are designed like it. When I heard Phillips 66 was shutting down, it caught my attention. But then when I heard Valero was going down, I'm doing my job, farming. Suddenly I'm like, what do you mean Valero's going down?
Listen, man, this is what's happening in a lot of these circles, man. A lot of people have been having conversations behind the scenes. Obviously, I have my friends and I have my, people that I'm around, my OGs and people who give me information and feed me a lot of articles and stuff, just so that I make sure I do my due diligence and create, the right research that backs up everything that they're telling me. And a lot of people have been watching this stuff. And like I said, I got friends who work at these oil refineries and I got friends who work in the oil industry, right? And they're letting me know, like, hey, man, it's different. There's a lot going on, a lot of movement. People are leaving. A lot of my homies moved to Texas because that's where they can get work. South Dakota, that's where they can get work. Utah, that's where they can get work. And they're going over there, man. Like I said, I'm a blue collar guy. I come from that. So a lot of my homies, they got to get to the money, man. And whatever that may mean, because California is just not here. The money not here no more. And it used to be the hub, right? You could get money in Cali. You can't do it no more because it's just too much. It costs too much for taxes. It costs too much for the overhead for these companies to be profitable. And if you are a person who studies history and economics like I do, I enjoy this. So it was very important for me to bring these type of stories to the forefront for y'all, because there's lies being told right now. They're lying to us, telling us that it's because of the Middle East and what's going on over there, when in reality, you got panels like this of economists, people who are professors at USC Business School, who this is their life. They do this. And they are like, yo, like, this is getting crazy. Like, what's going on?
So I started investigating, digging into what was going on. And I just decided one day I generated my own brief and went down to the Capitol because I wasn't really getting anywhere. That's where I ended up meeting Stan, scheduled a meeting with him. We talked about the brief. We've gone down a total of 370,000 barrels a day of crude oil was lost in 2023. And now almost that equivalent amount of crude oil production is being lost between Phillips 66 and Wilmington, and with Valero going down now.
All right. This is a major problem, and they don't care. And that's what I'm saying. These economists, it's in their incentive. It's a part of what they do to find this information, right? To see something and being like, hold up, like, I got to look into this, because I'm the same way. I'm a R&D guy, research and development. I got to look and see. I got to do my, calculations and figure out, like, okay, what's happening here? Like, why is this? and I need to make sense in my own head. But a lot of people, they're not like that. So when I started to see this coming down the pipeline, and as well, I started to see all these articles talking about it's because of the war in the Middle East, why, you know, all of these gas prices are going up. I was like, bro, this is a lie. Like, ain't no way. And sure enough, right when I just typed it in, all these articles come up from last year, 10 months ago, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 2 months ago. This one is from a month ago. Okay. Tracking, selling us, okay, dang, Valero closes in April. Phillips 66 closed back in October. What is we talking about, man? Like, it's pretty obvious what's going on, but that's the game. The game of mainstream media is to lie, push propaganda, and put the veil over our eyes to make us believe something that ain't what's true. They're trying to make us believe that it's all on Trump when it isn't. Like I said, one bird, same feathers, all right? They're all part of it. Same wings, okay? One bird, two wings. Democrats and Republicans are all part of one governing body who has been sent to terrorize the American people and our economy. And I mean this. We're going to have to stand up soon. We're going to have to do something about it, man, because it's getting worse. And they know, they feel like, I'll say this, they feel like we ain't going to do nothing about it. So y'all let me know what we going to do, because I'm ready to do something. Just let me know. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you know, I have my own biases and things, but when it comes to the dismantling of the construct and the billionaire class, let's do it. Let's dismantle all these corrupt motherfuckers, all of them. Let's get them all out of here. Let's go. Y'all let me know when y'all ready, man, because I'll be there, front line, baby. Let's go.
And the problem is, it's we're at a point now where we can't bring in our infrastructure. We're almost pretty much limited on what we can bring in for fuel. Gasoline, jet fuel, we're getting it from across the Pacific Ocean, because like we all know, this is an island. We don't have pipelines coming in, and we're pretty much maxed out on what we can handle bringing in. Now we're going to lose a refinery, which is it is in the process of slowly coming down now, which produces between 4.5 and 4.7 millions of gallons of gasoline a day, around 600 to 700,000 gallons of jet fuel a day, and that equivalent of diesel. We don't have the capacity to handle that, to bring that in. So
listen, man, I told y'all what's going to happen. Okay. Our flights are going to get more expensive. Any airplane ticket that you going to buy, you better buy it now. Buy it now, because after April, it's going to be a wrap. You're going to not be able to afford it. Okay. Any shipping, any receiving, any logistical things, it's going to get exponentially more expensive to ship something, to receive something, because like he mentioned, the diesel prices are going to go up. And who uses diesel? All of those trucking companies, all of those shipping and receiving companies, UPS, USPS, FedEx, all of these, Amazon, okay? Everything is going to get more expensive, all right? And on top of that, let's bring it down to the micro. DoorDash, Uber Eats, regular Uber, all this is going to be going up, because who's going to be able to give you a ride to where you're trying to go to if it's $10 a gallon? Hell nah, ain't going to be no way, bro. What sense would it make for a person who's driving a car to make deliveries and it is $10 a gallon? It ain't going to make sense. Okay, the economy is not going to be right. And mind you, this is what they want. They want to kill the gig economy, because a lot of people are surviving on that. All right, being able to make deliveries and all that stuff. They want to kill that. Okay, they want to kill anybody who's a truck driver. They want to kill that economy. You cannot tell me that all these things are not connected. You cannot tell me that all this stuff doesn't make sense, because it does. You just have to open your mind and open your eyes to the scope of this, okay? Because it's only going to get worse, exponentially worse. And it's going to ramp up after April, like they said. In April, it's a wrap. They're going to close that Valero, and it's going to be, we're going to see it. But like they said, like I told you guys, we're already seeing all these articles talking about it's because of the war in the Middle East that all these prices are going up. Yeah, right. Shut up. It's because y'all chose to outsource all of the oil. And then as well, you put all of these huge taxes and huge penalties on these companies that are producing it right here in America. And now they're cooked. They're like, F it, man. We getting out of California. Ain't no point to be here. We can't do it. So we're going to dip, as they should. You know what I'm saying? Why would you stay somewhere that's not profitable if you're a business owner? Like, what sense does that make?
I'm just really very concerned about it. Any type of events that can occur, refinery downtime like the El Segundo fire that just happened, weather related, typhoon. Back when I worked there, ran that control board, there was a couple times where I actually cut the refinery back due to storms in Alaska. We couldn't get the Alaska North Slope. So we cut from 135,000 down to 100. One time we were about 8 to 10 hours away from completely shutting down because the tankers were being held up that much. Now we have so many tankers coming in to offload. The docks, the ports are so crowded like LA. They had a fire on a tanker, a cargo ship, a big fire that was so bad they pulled it away from the dock. They were worried about the dock being damaged. If something like that happens, we will very quickly run out of gasoline, our supplies. We don't have a lot of inventory, 14 days. We'll run out of supplies. Not only will prices go through the roof, but you will end up having shortages. And we're supplying Phoenix, we're supplying Vegas, we're supplying Nevada. So those two states, all of the military installations.
Listen, man, I mean this respectfully, y'all. Like, I just gave you guys every single detail of what's happening, and y'all got to make sure that y'all pay attention to us, okay? I'm here, you feel me, to make sure that I always bring the receipts and always bring in truth, but at the same time, y'all got to make sure you stay on the line and keeping your head on a swivel. Stay on your pivot, like my boy Urban Politician says. All right, stay on your pivot, because there's a lot going on right now that you got to be careful for, and you got to keep your eyes open, man. I just, you know what I'm saying, I just made sure that I brought these receipts to y'all. You know what I'm saying? I made sure that we stand on code. You feel me? So I'm going to get up out of here, man, because that's all I had to really say. You know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure that we continuing to build the catalog. That's what we do here. We building the catalog. You know what I'm saying? We building the catalog. We making sure that we continue to bring these fresh topics to you guys. And y'all let me know in the comments what you think. How expensive do you think the prices are going to reach? You know what I'm saying? I'm saying $8 to $10. We're going to be seeing $8 to $10 out this mug in a second. You know what I mean? We're going to see it. And so y'all got to let me know in the comments what you think. You know, if you think it's going to get to a point where it's going to be unsustainable. That's the word, unsustainable. You know what I'm saying? So y'all let me know in the comments, man. My name's Brandon B. I'm part of Elite Media, man, and I'm out. Peace.